Yeah, yes. Ah. The roundhouse. This is by far the most damaging kick that you can throw. It's actually so destructive, you can end a fight just by kicking your opponent one time in the leg. Now there's a little trick to that instant fight ender, so watch this video and you will have the secret. The roundhouse. There's multiple levels you can send this kick. You can take it to the leg, the midsection, the head. All of them are going to do a lot of damage. Really the most important element of a roundhouse when it comes to just the basic form is number one, striking with your shin, and number two, pivoting on this damn foot. This is not like a snap karate kick any longer. A Muay Thai roundhouse, you try to like move all the way through the guy, chopping down, even to the point that you spin in a full circle, like, and you move all the way across while even taking an angle. In order to do that, you have to have your front foot pivoted. Your leg can only go as far as this foot points. So on your initial step, I want you to already have it pointing 45 degrees. Now I can at least follow through to there. After you step, I want you to pivot. One way to do this, there's a pivot drill that I make people do, where they grab a hold of my cage and they take their foot and they go like that. Again, pivoting allows you to follow through, and it's not difficult to pivot as long as you step high on your toe on that first step. If you step flat-footed, you have too much surface area on the ground, your foot can't spin. Up on one point it can spin, you can pivot, you can follow through, you get more power. So if you've ever tried on high heels for any reason, now would be a good time to remember that foot positioning.
Yo, dude, what are you doing?
Working on my roundhouses.
Okay.
Moving on. So after you've stepped and now you've pivoted, you've enabled yourself to follow through considerably more. The next step is kind of finishing your kick. So for the most part, if I'm fighting AJ, let's assume I land my roundhouse. I step, I pivot, I've struck with my shin on his thigh. Now I'm going to actually push, I'm going to send my hip through, push off of him to get back to my stance. Now you don't kind of see that happen. It almost happens in like, just in part of the general movement. It's like step, push, return, boom, boom. Except it's not a push, it's like a bludgeoning stab. It's as violent as you can make it. Now this might be kind of hard to understand, but you also want to send your hip through on a kick. Your hip obviously connects to your leg, and by throwing your hip through, it's just like one more part of your body that's kind of going into that following through process and really cutting through the guy that you're kicking. So when you're striking, try to maintain some relaxation in your body and don't flex your hip trying to like bring your leg into your roundhouse. Send your hip through. Push your hip forward, the rest of the kick will kind of rip behind, and that's the action you want. It's tough to get initially, but just keep that in mind and eventually you understand what I'm talking about. Now, you don't always land your roundhouses, so you need to be prepared for what happens next. So I step, I pivot, let's say I miss, my foot hits the ground here, I need to plant that foot, I spin open, and my left foot follows my target. My left foot follows the guy that I'm fighting. So a real quick miss roundhouse, and then I'm back immediately facing the guy. That's how you want to think about your roundhouse, again, chopping through. The next little detail is your knee. Your knee is kind of like the crosshair aimer of your roundhouse. So if I'm in tight fighting AJ and I want to kick him in the midsection, I want to send my knee up and past his midsection. Boom, like so. So my knee sticks all the way out the other side of his body. If I want to send my kick to the head, I send my knee to the head. If I want to kick to the leg, whoop, I send my knee way across my target. That's kind of how you aim, and that's another way that you make sure you're following through, by driving your knee across. If you combine those elements, the big pivot, pushing your knee across, and that hip turn, violently snapping your hip across, you're going to have an incredibly powerful roundhouse. Again, I have the secret to ending a fight with one single kick to the leg, but you have to go to howtofightnow.com in order to get it. Don't worry, it's free. Just click the link in the top of the video description box and you'll be sent to the site. Just sign up real quick. It's like name and email address and you're there. I also have a ton of lessons on how to add ridiculous power to your punches so that all of those can end the fight in one single strike as well. It's basically a site dedicated to teach you how to mess people up. So go to the website. I'll see you there.
Yeah.